From beautiful British Columbia, you're watching John Lovelace's West Coast Escapes.
Let's blue sky, let's imagine, let's get a dream of how good things can be. Let's blue sky, let's imagine, let's get a dream of how good things can be. I wake up.
On today's show, John does an epic flight from Vancouver all the way up to the 60th parallel of northern Saskatchewan. Stops along the way include Quesnel, BC and Athabasca, Alberta. In Saskatchewan, we visit a wilderness lodge, and then it's on to the abandoned ghost town of Uranium City. So sit back for today's special edition of West Coast Escapes TV.
Let's blue sky, let's imagine, let's get a dream of how good things can be.
A couple of years ago, I had the real pleasure and honor to fly this airplane and lead 100 other aircraft across the country to commemorate the 100 years of flying in Canada. We went from Vancouver all the way to Sydney, Nova Scotia, and we had a great time. We had so much fun that we formed the Century Flight Club of Canada, and every year we get together and we go someplace else. Last year it was Whitehorse. This year we're going into Central Canada, and you're invited to join us. So sit back with the Century Flight Club of Canada 2011 Saskatchewan Adventure.
Okay, well, every flight is an adventure, and this one is no exception. We're ready to go on runway 12 out of Boundary Bay up to Quesnel. The problem is the weather is quite low, very, very scuzzy. System just moved through, hardly anybody's flying. We're going to have to fly really low to get and around the Langley control zone. We're going to hit the Hope, and hopefully at Hope, skies will open up and we can get through the pass there.
When low pressure systems sweep in over the Pacific Ocean, rain and low clouds usually bottle up at the foothills of the coastal mountains around Hope. We have to fly through this before we can get into the clear air on the lee side of the mountains.
Looks pretty damn good in here.
Our flight is up the Fraser Canyon to the city of Quesnel, which will be our first stop in our 1,600-kilometer odyssey to the subarctic. Generally, the weather is good for flying in this region, and today it's no exception. In Quesnel, we are meeting up with another 20 aircraft, which will be the official start of our flight into northern Saskatchewan.
See ya.
How was your flight?
It was great.
Yeah. This will be a meet and greet with some of the local pilots in the area, and it's a chance for our members to get together and plan for the next week's adventure.
How's it going?
But I think it's moving out to the east. I think it's going to be better.
It gets better.
Okay, so this is the deal. We got Crab here. We got a 1960 Corvette, 283 cubic inch engine, 280 horsepower, and we're going to go over, deliver the Crab to the cookout, and we're going to start the fly-in in style.
On behalf of City Council and the City of Quesnel, I just want to welcome you all here, and I know some of you have been here before, and Dr. Corbett said I was supposed to tell you, and we're probably a little biased, that this is the best place in British Columbia to live. So,
looking forward to flying to the Rockies again and flying through Jasper. It's going to be beautiful. But we have to wait for some weather to lift. So here we are at the Quesnel Airport, and what we're going to do, we'll probably be taking the VFR route because of the clouds. Like this. All the way to Athabasca right here. Just checking the forecast. Places to the south like Edmonton are well above VFR conditions, high cloud ceilings. But as we go to the north here, like Slave Lake and Peace River, the weather's a lot lower with lower ceilings.
That's basically following this.
But we're going to be flying a line through Alberta just south of most of the weather conditions, so we should be all right. But we have to wait for the weather here in Quesnel to pick up first before we go anywhere.
So it's 8:15, which is 9:15 Alberta time. We were supposed to be there at 11, so we're going to be late. But this is really treacherous weather right here because it's breaking. It looks really good, but it's a dangerous situation because you can get up before you should, and you end up between layers, and you can't even get back to the airport. So we'll wait another hour. But right here it looks good, but I wouldn't risk it. Not unless I know I can get back.
Well, hurry up and wait, I guess. Just get fueled up and ready to go, and if she opens up, then we'll get off the ground.
Ask any pilot about the feeling before a flight, and the answer is always the same. It gets the adrenaline flowing. The heart beats just a little quicker, and the senses become a little sharper. As we turn the airplane east, we have to climb up to 9,000 feet to clear the Rockies.
Oh, this is nice.
The ceilings are good, so we have set a direct line from Quesnel to our next stop in Athabasca, Alberta. There, we'll meet up with even more airplanes on the flight into northern Saskatchewan. The people in Alberta do things up right. This is cattle country, and they've come up with a great way to cook up their Alberta beef. So it's another session of pilot talk and meet and greet. It's their anniversary here, so I head down to the river to learn more about the history of the town of Athabasca and its connection to the river.
Yeah, thanks for coming to the party. It's been 100 years, but the town actually was here, it was called Athabasca Landing, started about late 1860s, early 1870. Hudson Bay sent a warehouse manager up here, and this was going to become their new trading center. And everybody came through here, and they got on that river.
On that river, let's go down
That's
by
right.
the river and tell me about the significance of the river.
Okay.
Originally this was called Athabasca Landing,
If you take a look at it, it's nice and flat.
and that's why it was here.
And that's why they wanted to position themselves here, because they could build boats here and easily get them in and out of the river. And they would build every spring 300 to 400 of these scows. All the labor came from Lac La Biche. It's all Métis and First Nations labor. All the cargo's coming up from Edmonton on an old road that became the first so-called highway in Alberta. They bring it up by wagon and by sled, and they stack it all along this nice flat area. Because remember, the river's frozen for 5 months of the year. It's a highway, but it only works 7 months of the year. They load them up with cargo, and then they go north.
Would it been a nice place to live back then?
Yeah, I think so. It sounded, you know, for that time, it was sophisticated, right? It was the sophisticated north. They were trying to build a commercial center here. Initially, it was a wooden town. It was all built out of wood. And you can see some of the few remaining buildings now, but suddenly the town burned down. The whole downtown burned down. All the commercial zone, that big, beautiful hotel was made out of wood, and now it's burned down. And within a year, they rebuilt it all, because they believed that this was going to be the place.
It's 7:30, Sunday morning, and we're making our final launch now towards La Ronge. There's about 35 airplanes from the east going to join us. We've got our group here. We're first off. We're ready to go. Weather's great. I think Saskatchewan may be Canada's most misunderstood province. Well, people come here expecting prairie wheat fields, but in reality the province is a land of pristine lakes and rivers and forests that rival anywhere else in the country.
Looks like the Navajo is 2 miles after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
To make it ideal for discovery by aviators, the northern half is without roads. So here we come, 2 streams of aircraft from eastern and western Canada. Our base will be La Ronge, which is a pretty town on the banks of a huge lake that the town is named after.
Got a few crows there. They're moving off.
La Ronge is perfect for us. You can fish right off the banks. There's terrific camping areas for our crews, and you can even rent houseboats. There's a golf course, and there's plenty of docking space for our float planes. The hotel has a large banquet room that's just right for our meetings and briefings. But best of all, the airport is perfect, and it can handle the surge of private aircraft that it hasn't seen here ever before.
How's the flight?
Beautiful.
Pretty good?
Awesome! It was great.
It's very good, thanks.
Perfect.
Where'd you come in from?
Just from Tisdale today, originally from Alliston.
Halliburton, Stanhope, about an hour north of Toronto.
Woodminster. Just out of Edmonton.
Athabasca.
South Alberta.
Prince Albert.
Larange, yeah, I'm no Larange tender here.
What are we gonna do? Well, hopefully some fishing, a little golfing.
Fishing and golfing.
Flying.
Flying.
Flying. That's why we're here, right? A little bit of fun, a little bit of eating, obviously.
Beer drinking.
It's been great, yeah. Meeting lots of good people.
Well, so far it's been damn near perfect, yeah. Other than a couple bugs, it's great. This is the north.
For 5 days, our aircraft will be coming and going to explore the wilderness area to the north. The local residents get to come out and mingle with our flight crews and share stories of flying.
That's right. You turn one wheel and the other one turns. Going this way, buddy.
Here's to the good life, so they say. All those parties and games that all those people.
Do they fit large?
We're going on a cruise. That's an inner cruise.
So that's our command center, and it's working like a military machine. And then we've got 6 bands that we've got going at any given time.
We're going out to the airport, to the air base, look at some air tankers. Woo!
It's called Northern Ops?
Northern Air Operations.
Northern Air Operations, and that encompasses how many aircraft?
We have 21 airplanes.
21 airplanes, and how many pilots?
We have 39 pilots with myself.
And you're the head guy.
I'm
You're
the chief.
numero uno.
I'm the chief.
So you fly all of these aircraft?
Yes, I do. My real job, basically, is I fly a fire truck. You know, and when the bell goes off or the fire siren goes off, we go fight forest fires.
Okay, so this is one of the earlier models here.
This was one of the first airplanes that the Saskatchewan government ever got, and now we're replacing them with the Convairs.
And that Convair is right over here.
That's the Convair.
Now, how much more can you get on this ship than in this one?
This one carries 2,100 US gallons.
Paddles on this thing.
This airplane has the bigger engines in it. We have the Dash 522s, so the Allison 522, so it's 4,300 horsepower aside.
The 215, that's a remarkable airplane, isn't it?
The 215, we just brought this one back this year. The engines that are on this airplane are the same engines that are on the Dash 8 300 series. So,
Do you enjoy this life?
Oh, I've never worked a day in my life, really. I love what I do. I love to fly. I love my job. And so yeah, I get paid a lot of good money to have fun.
We understand, we relate to that, but I don't believe it. I know you do work hard. Thanks a lot, Bob. Suddenly, a wave of severe weather has moved through Larange. Now this could be a serious problem for our airplanes flying in and out of the city airport. So I'm checking out the weather, and then we'll call everyone together for a general flight briefing.
Everyone, every radar.
Oh my goodness, look at that, eh?
So it's 10 minutes old, the last frame's 10 minutes old, so all that went over us.
Yeah, but it's pretty thin though.
I think he probably generally came up with pretty much good VFR for the route for most of the day with showers and thunderstorms. Is that right?
That's nutshell. That is correct. Like I say, that island part at Stony Rapids right now, the 800-foot ceiling should burn off by the time you guys get up there.
Today, the Navajo will be part of a group of 20 aircraft heading north to the 60th parallel to do some fishing. The mandate of our flights are to get private pilots out of their home base and into areas that they might not venture on their own. our trip to Stony Rapids will really push these boundaries because we're going right up to the border of the Northwest Territories and will be not very far from the extent of the tree line. This is sparsely settled areas with no roads and very few airports. So to fly up here, you need to have lots of fuel reserves, a good weather envelope, and you need to be sharp with your navigation because there are no landmarks. This is what northern flying is all about. This is why our crews have come here from downtown Toronto and Vancouver.
Try out a bit of fishing and see how it turns out. Maybe we can catch one, got some length to it.
From here, it's a short ride to the fishing lodge where the idea is to spend a day hanging out by the lake. Now, some of our crews I know will stay much longer. This is the Saskatchewan that very few people get to experience, 500 kilometers away from the nearest highway. I spent my whole life trying to get that monster northern pike, so I'm here on Black Lake to do it.
Well, there is some big ones here.
Are there?
Yeah.
Have you taken me to the right spot?
Well, I sure hope so.
Okay, so, and I've got a 5 of diamonds.
Yeah, that's a very popular.
Whoa! Holy smokes! I had a hit right off the bat. Tell me what kind of fish are in here.
There's anything from whitefish, walleye, pike. In the just up back behind, I guess, there's Arctic grayling and lake trout.
And the rivers here run north.
Yes.
And they made it all the way up here.
Yep.
90% of the fish are in 10% of the lake, right?
Well, actually, you got the fish finder, you can look, and there's fish all over.
So in this place, it's 90% of the fish are in 90% of the lake.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
They are, yeah.
Well, I know that Saskatchewan has been, because I've been coming up here now for over 10 years, and I fished a lot of the lakes, and I can say it's one of the most progressive provinces when it comes to conservation in Canada.
Yeah.
They're way ahead of a lot of other areas. A lake like this is just not harvested.
No.
And here it is, probably one of the 10 nicest days of the entire year here,
Yeah.
right here, right now. No bugs,
no
actually, wind, nice temperature, not too hot.
Yeah.
Fish are biting, and look. Can you see another boat? There isn't a boat out here. Oh, there's
home.
my fish. There it is. Well, this is northern Saskatchewan fishing. It's a little jack.
Yeah.
That's a really small fish for here.
Yes, it is.
And yet, if we were, in other parts of Canada, that'd be a good catch. So we'll throw him back and get his daddy. That was what, about 6 casts? Yeah, lots of life. Well, I'm really impressed. I think that was really good. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Coming in here and well, see if we can get another one.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you don't.
The water in northern Saskatchewan is pure and cold. The Stony Rapids here have given the name to both the town and the airport. It's time to relax before tomorrow's flight and hang out at the lodge, to swap fishing stories and to plan the flight into the abandoned ghost town. Tomorrow will be a big day, so it's hard to soar like an eagle in the morning if you stay up all night with the owls. So everybody retires early.
Caught some great fish yesterday. I had a nice 10-pound jack on there, and he came up and just danced right on top of the water. And then last night after supper, I was using my fly rod, and that fly rod just had a bend in it like you wouldn't believe, and just, a beautiful fish.
So where are you heading now?
Uranium City.
Oh, you're going to go to, okay, yeah. We're on our way there too. So.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see you in New City tonight then.
Yes.
Good. This morning's flight will be our last and most remote leg. We are right up at the top of Saskatchewan and flying along the southeast end of Lake Athabasca. Now this is home to the Athabasca Sand Dunes, which stretch for about 100 kilometers along the south shore of the lake. This is the largest active sand surface in all of Canada and one of the most northern sets of major dunes in the world. We are flying over an ecosystem with plants that are different than anywhere else on the planet. Then it's a beeline across the lake into our ghost town discovery.
We just arrived, and we have arrived here today in Uranium City. Great trip. It's wonderful up in northern Saskatchewan. The lakes, the scenery is absolutely fantastic.
Oh. Yeah. I can fly around the country, I just can't find my car. At one time, Uranium City was home to 6,000 people. It boasted all the amenities of a modern city, but there were two problems with the town. First, there were no roads. It was isolated. And the second problem was that the entire economy was built around one thing, and that was uranium mining. So when the United States stopped buying uranium, everyone was immediately thrown out of work in this little town. Now, it's a ghost town. Well, this was a store of some kind. Isn't this sad? Holy cow. There's a fluorescent tube lights along here, so it was a commercial building. Maybe a restaurant or something? Wow. It's sad to see something like this. You know, it changed too. You know, 10 years ago I would have come in here and thought, oh, isn't this neat? And now I'm thinking, it's not so neat. So you decided to retire and come here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
And what did you think when, whose idea was it?
Ken's, come on out, dear. You'll be on TV, not me.
Whose idea was this to come out here?
To come live up
I like
here.
that handshake. You know, he grabs the hand and he pulls it like this. It all came to an end very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they did announce the closing, and I mean, I'm sure it shocked everybody. You know, the ones that had houses here and lived here, this was their home, you know, and it was probably tough for a lot of them to leave, and the same thing with their businesses, especially.
Financially, the houses too, the mortgage, because you have a house here that's worth nothing. If you move south, how do you get another mortgage?
Well, I know some of them were allowed to walk away without having to declare bankruptcy and all that stuff. I know some people toughed it out.
It was very stressful, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, people were
People
stressed.
have beautiful homes. There's some beautiful homes here.
So Dan, how long have we known each other? When did we meet?
Oh, I think we've been knowing each other for the last 15 years, 14 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. And I must say you haven't changed a bit.
Well, no, I try not to.
You live in the suburbs of Uranium City.
I live 12 miles away.
But 12 miles in the city might take 15 minutes. It's a little longer for you to get out there, right?
Takes me about an hour to drive there. Because my roads are not the best roads.
So, again, it's really hard for someone who's watching this in the city to absolutely imagine what it would be like to live out here.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. There's, like you say, the town is not much, but once you get outside of the town itself, you got all the things you need. You get hunting, fishing, the best of scenery. Everything you need is right here.
What was up here?
This was all houses. There was houses all along this side here. Pretty well all these streets were all right tight with houses here.
Was it ever paved?
No, all gravel here. The only pavement we had was right down Main Street.
Yeah.
That was it.
So there's the first traffic I've seen all day.
That's Eddie.
Cheryl, tell me about living here.
It's relaxing, definitely. Just do what you want when you want, and just, you know, and people are very friendly. You go visit and.
But is there any place where people collect?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
Dean's at the gas station. So we always go for coffee twice a day.
You know, like whenever there is a July 1st celebration and stuff, like I could probably safely say at least 85% of the communities always attends all those things. We're having a town cleanup and there's like 27 people there. Somebody says, well, not many people showed up. Well, if you look at the percentage, you know, like 30-some% of the town showed up for a cleanup. Where would you find that? Not in any city or town that I've ever lived in. You know what I mean?
There's Vince. This is the building here. This is the one they Kasner redone this building. They put about $1 million in there.
In this building here?
In this building. That used to be the town offices and the game warden's office, and all that was in this building here. And then they realized that they had put 50 bedrooms in there for men, but they didn't put any windows in any of the bedrooms. So you can't have a bunkhouse without windows in the bedrooms, because you have to have some kind of an escape route. You have to have fresh air. So they put $1 million in there, and now it's garbage. Yeah, this is the main street right there.
This is the main street?
Right there. That's the main street.
Right here?
Yep.
And listen to how quiet it is.
Yeah, no traffic, no nothing. It's perfect.
I bought
a lot, and it was only cost me $250 for the lot, and that's a corner lot, and it's a good big corner lot.
Here?
Yeah, in Rainy City. And I got to pay $50 for title changeover. So it cost me $300 for a nice corner lot in Rainy City.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to put a little house on it. When I retire, I'm going to move in and stay in town instead of living away out in the bush. With $300, you can't go wrong. Not that I can find anyway.
That's incredible.
It's been a good trip.
Oh yeah, it's been a great trip.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
It's been a good adventure.
Really enjoying the camaraderie with all the other pilots.
Learned a lot about weather and navigation.
It was fantastic. Absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah, I'll be here next year for sure, guaranteed.
The Century Flight Club is all about exploring Canada by air. The stops along the way have been steeped in history, the fishing has been terrific, and there's been good times around an open fire. Between stops, the flying has been spectacular. I'm John Lovelace, and we'll see you again next week on West Coast Escapes Television.
Looking for more information on features you've seen on today's show? Then visit our website at westcoastescapestv.com. Do you have comments or story ideas for West Coast Escapes? Or do you want your vacation spot or real estate featured? If so, then email us at info@westcoastescapestv.com. DVDs of West Coast Escapes TV are available by single copy or complete box set. Go to our online store at westcoastescapestv.com.
Let's blue sky, let's imagine, let's get a dream of how